What's happening? This is Jack Scullin, and so this is going to be the first episode of Waxin' Chats, which is going to be my new interview podcast show, and the concept behind it is going to be, we're just going to be chilling, listening to a record, and the interview will be the length of the record. We're going to have my friends, anyone who I know, who I think is cool or interesting, and who wants to do the show. And it's as simple as that. So we kind of figured this out halfway through the first episode. We started out the episode just playing one song off of Billy Joel's 52nd Street. And the next episode, we're going to feature a full album length. So without further ado, my first guest is going to be my best friend, Mr. Rhys Lutz. And so let's do it. They are?
Yeah. They're down like almost 40%.
We're starting off with a little Billy Joel, 52nd Street. I've never heard of this album. You know Jameson Price?
No.
You never heard of? I don't know how I originally met him, but I feel like he went to... What's the church you went to growing up?
Jameson Price?
Jameson?
Perimeter Church?
Jameson Price? I think he went there. But yeah, he gave me this record.
Really?
But, see, I recognize this song.
Yeah. Is this the second track now?
This...
Or did you just start it over?
It's either the second or the third. This is either My Life or... Honestly? Vance Bar, I don't know.
Was Billy Joel like... He was one of the first pop stars, wasn't he?
You think?
I always think of him as like...
When did he get poppin'?
In the 80s? It was like early 80s, right?
Yeah.
He has some just like really, I don't know, poppy, like upbeat songs. I feel like it's like the beginnings of like Britney Spears and like boy band music.
You think?
Yeah.
I mean, I could definitely see that. I feel like the first boy band obviously was like the Beatles. As far as like fanatical female fans like chasing them around, and
yeah,
because I feel like that's kind of the focal point of a boy band. But like as far as like a pop star, yeah, I could see Billy Joel, well Elvis.
Yeah, but I feel like it's kind of Billy Joel started almost a transition from like rock and roll to pop music. But I guess the Beatles.
Yeah, I could definitely see that.
I've always thought it just got a little more like, maybe like, I don't know if it's more well produced or just like starting to get, just focusing more on just like happy sounds and stuff that everybody would like instead of like.
Was his, do you know, was his breakthrough at the song, was it Piano Man? Or was that like, he was already established?
I don't know.
I really don't know shit about Billy Joel.
Yeah, either. But he's got a lot of pop. He's got a lot of hits.
He's got a lot of hits. What's that one song? Only the Good Die Young.
Yeah, Uptown Girl.
Oh yeah, he did Uptown Girl.
And and then he had that song. Oh man, it's like a love song. It's like a really cheesy love song.
I don't know. Dude, that's the craziest thing about being a pop star is you can have a banging hit. And it could be 35 years old, but then you're just like, all right, I'm going on tour. And you'll still sell out big venues, maybe not stadiums, but off of one song. That people will be like, I'm buying a ticket to see this guy just so he can like, obviously it'll be like, oh, we think the concert's ending, then it's like, yep, now he's playing that song. When I saw Leonard Skinner, that was like, they did it perfectly, because it was obviously like, okay, they're going to do Sweet Home Alabama and Freebird.
Uh-huh.
So they end the concert with Sweet Home Alabama, everyone's wild, they leave, and then obviously the encore. Just one clean Freebird, and that was that.
Yeah. They have to do that every time.
Dude, could you see, like, do you think the Rolling Stones are sick of playing Superstition? Or do you think, like, every night since they're playing a new town and stuff, it's like, alright, I gotta imagine they're, like, so
It has
sick.
to get boring.
Yeah.
But at the same time, how could you not have fun doing that?
Yeah. Because they go wild. Ugh. Alright. Well, I'm Jack Scullin, and this is my friend Rhys Lutz, and this is going to be the first of, I don't know what this is. Interview, podcast, web series. Just chilling, talking about shit, you know. But, let's start off with, Facebook stocks.
Facebook stocks.
Wait, so what's happening?
They lost like probably 40% of their market value since their all-time high from earlier this year, and I think they're probably negative on the year now.
Does a market value mean how it's estimated to be worth in the stock market versus how much it's actually worth?
So the stock price went down from like $220 to like $140. So like you could have paid thousands of dollars and you paid $220 a share, and now it's only like 1,000 shares would be $220,000, and that would be worth $140,000 within like a few months.
Wait, say that again?
If you bought 1,000 shares, it would be worth $220,000, and you could have bought it 6 months ago for $220,000, and today it'd only be worth $140,000.
It was at 220 6 months ago. Now it's at 140.
Yes.
And why?
I think the mostly like the election hacking stuff and just the it seems like advertisers and users maybe, but mostly advertisers just don't trust them to be able to deliver on like the things they say as far as protections they're putting in for consumers. So like, I guess the best example is like the hacking of the election. They always talk about the spread of fake news or the spread of hate, and like, you know, and it gets so bad to be like terrorism and like gang related stuff going on too. But I feel like, and then Zuckerberg's come out and said we're gonna like spend all this money, billions of dollars, to fight against this. And then news recently just came out that basically said he hasn't actually done anything. So everyone thinks that they're operating. They're saying that all he cares about is growth and making more money, and he's not really doing like putting it in the safe or putting enough effort towards protecting consumers in those weird areas they were talking about.
See, that just makes no sense to me, because it's like, I mean, Facebook is a platform based on individuals who, you know, share individual opinions, and those same individuals can create these groups, and then other individuals come in and make the group what it is. So it's like, how can the responsibility, or just like the nuance of judging what is true or what is false, what is like good, what is bad, fall on like the dude who owns the platform? You know, it's like how can someone have the expectation that how anyone could be able to actually implement that correctly or like responsibly? It's
right. I mean, honestly, I was thinking about it, and it seems like it's kind of outgrown being able to be controlled. You know, it's like gotten to the point where it's just out there, and people are just going to use it however they're going to use it. And it's almost like comparable to when you think of like robots taking over the world. Like I don't know why I was thinking about this the other day, but that whole theory of like robots taking over the world. And it's like this social media thing. They're always talking about like adding in virtual reality and artificial intelligence into like all the technology now, and it's all tied together so much that it's like, I don't know, shit's crazy.
Yeah. Man, that whole artificial intelligence, like, I'm a firm believer that it's like, if you do give
like, I think all the sci-fi movies are pretty right in, like, what'll inevitably happen. Like, I inevitably think, like, if you give robots enough sentience where it's, like, they can, like, think to a certain degree or a cognitive degree, and it's just, like, and they have access, since they're computers, they have access to all the information within, you know, on the internet, they'll inevitably come to the conclusion it's, like, humans are bad for the world. We need to, like, like, that's, because it's, like, that's, like, robotic logic, where it's, like, humans are the issue, humans are, like, the malware, and we're going to...
Right. Yeah, I don't know, it's just crazy the amount of access everybody has on Facebook, and, like, and how often people spend time on it. It is,
well, dude, so...
But basically, I think, as far as people's, like, not having faith in the company anymore, I think it mostly has to do with if they ever are gonna just, like, put the resources towards this stuff, they're basically not gonna earn as much money. And they were talking about they were spending all this money on it, and they weren't spending all this money on it. So I think the real reason the stock went down is people think that when they actually spend all the money that it's actually going to take to put these safeguards in and watch over it well, or whatever that means.
Yeah, but ultimately that's just people.
And
you're hiring people to do that.
And it seems like that's not going to be it's not going to be a profitable business model. And honestly, it's like Facebook might fucking disappear, dude. I feel like we need to evolve. I feel like we're getting close to evolving to the next level of whatever that, like, the next Facebook is, you know? I just feel like it's getting to the point where the demand for it is outweighing any control of being able to actually run a company on it. Like, and then it goes also into just the privacy issues that people have with it now. People feel so, especially, just like everywhere on the internet, just like cybersecurity is just so poor. Like, the people hacking into computers are so much better than people trying to protect all these systems for the companies.
Oh, dude,
like, every company is so online now, and it's like everyone, because I got my identity stolen.
Yeah.
Like, and it's just like, I feel like, and then people always getting these phone calls all the time, and, like, just that data shit all out there is just, I feel like people don't like it, and Facebook's adding to that, and something has to change eventually. Like, people are going to get fed up with just, the privacy issues of all this shit.
Well, speaking of what you were talking about, it's like I'm a advertising copywriter and SEO guy, and one of our big clients is cybersecurity. And so I had to write these blogs on various cybersecurity subjects, like different types of cyber threats, what's malware and stuff, what's ransomware. And it's like a phishing email scam. Like you were saying, it's like it's so easy to get hacked or your information compromised. Like, a phishing email is literally where someone sends you an email and there's a link. And theoretically, you could click on that link and it could completely release malware on your computer and freeze you out of your own computer.
Just
like that. And, like, once that happens, it's like you can get a cybersecurity team to help you, but it would kind of, like, outweigh the cost of just buying a new computer. You know, like buying those experts.
Right. Well, yeah. I mean, I guess because the problem is how they get into. Because all these companies have these databases of just databases of customers' information, right? And they just, like, hack into their account, and because it's all in the cloud, and they just take it. It's just spreadsheets and spreadsheets, or just compiled data.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just got everybody's phone numbers, so much information about them, and, like, social security, like Equifax, like, that is so wild. I don't know how we're gonna deal with that, but, like, it's crazy.
Well, I don't know. I think okay. So one thing about the whole privacy thing is, like, there is merit to that, but I really feel like in the age of social media, people aren't really concerned about their privacy. It's like they want people to know where they are, and they want people to know what they're up to.
Yeah.
But and here's the thing when it comes to Facebook, right?
when people are like, "Oh, it's so weird that an advertisement popped on my news feed that was like what I was thinking about," and I'm like, "Is that an issue?" It's like if you were to see, you have to see advertisements. Obviously, it's like companies have to. Advertisements is just companies spend money, so people are exposed to their products, and I feel like Facebook is so great because it's like they have all this data on the person, so they can actually, so advertisers who've identified their target audience, it's like, okay, we're interested in young men who like skateboarding, are also into rap music and stuff, and they can make these ads so it's like when you do see an ad, it's actually something that's like you could theoretically buy it. Because, I mean, sometimes it's like you see an ad and it's like, I'm glad I saw that.
Yeah,
now I know, but
true.
it's like
That's definitely true.
Yeah, it's like,
because the opposite is that, okay, advertisers have no idea who you are, how to identify your target audience, and then you just see a bunch of ads that are completely irrelevant to you.
Yeah.
So
and that is very true. I mean, I definitely see like the benefits to it, but I think it's also like maybe a fine line, like where it has to be managed well. But I don't know. Maybe.
But it's kind of like,
I guess you're probably right though.
Yeah, because I think the way they get that information is purely based on like, okay, this person
is part of these groups. This person is.
Yeah, and they like this. I mean, they take all that. They remember.
I don't think it's that. I don't think it's really necessarily spying. It's like they just analyze your Facebook profile. It's like he likes this pages. He's this age. He lives here. I
don't know. I feel like they do a lot though. Like
what do you think is like a breach of your privacy or something that like Facebook does where you're like, that was intrusive?
Nothing for me.
Yeah. Man, social media is crazy.
Social media is crazy.
Because I feel like
I know the Messenger app has like a whole list of like things they do to like get data from you, and it's like there's some weird shit in there. I'm pretty sure.
The Messenger
I'm trying to pull it up so we can read it. I don't know how we get to it though.
I literally feel like everyone is just an absolute social media junkie, and they're just like smartphones, but specifically it's like, all right, what are people looking on their smartphones? Well, it's mostly.
Yeah, it's so bad, man. Recently, I'm just on. I was looking. I have the screen time, and it's like 7 hours a day. I think for me, 7.5 hours a day. And
on top of that,
it's like most of it is on Instagram.
Oh yeah, me too. Absolutely.
Because I just go to that Discover page and reload it over and over again, and it's endless of just like it's just food videos and sports and politics and just like funny meme pages, and it's like
when you're talking about like the potential,
and it's just so dumb. It's like so mind numbing.
Oh yeah, it's absolutely. But when you're talking about like the possibility of Facebook going under, see, the reason I don't think they're going under is because they own Instagram.
Yeah.
Like they hedge their bets. Like theoretically, if the Facebook platform goes down, then they'll be all right. Because man, I feel like Instagram.
I spend a lot more time on Instagram than Facebook.
Yeah, as far as my social media, like, because I don't have a Twitter.
Instagram is just so much nicer because you don't have people yelling about shit at you the whole time.
Yeah.
Like people, there's sometimes be posting complaining about stuff, and I guess it's good for people to be able to advocate for stuff, but it's just like I guess we need to address that whole thing on Facebook of like just like people's politics. I don't know if it's just our friends around this area, but it's just so concentrated of just like Democrats posting whatever they want to, and like no Republicans post anything.
Well, I think it's a very like despotic and kind of they're not as comfortable posting something because they can just get lambasted or I mean, you can't publicly support it, which is like really messed up. But I also think it's just where people feel appropriate, like even with YouTube comments or just like posting their political opinions or whatever, just like these opinions that they otherwise wouldn't feel comfortable talking about in person.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And then I feel like that because okay, so this is something I was thinking about. So it's like on Facebook, right? The articles that get shared by other people and blogs that get shared, it's usually like the most extreme opinions, or it's like the most like this is a crazy person. It's like this person says that
yeah,
whatever it may be, and then like because it's so ridiculous, it gets shared all rampantly, and then people have this opinion that it's like, oh, people actually think this way, but really in reality it's just one crazy person who wrote this article or has this opinion, but then everyone sees it, so they're like, is this like a commonplace opinion? And then people's perception of how people are is like completely different. But then when you just like when you're just in the world, it's like you don't see any of this as a reality. It's like everyone's just pretty chill. Everyone's like, especially now because people have their smartphones and stuff, that everyone's like in their own world, and like it's not really, but it's not like.
I guess I stopped because I just felt like I'd say, like, I used to post like argue with people on Facebook.
Oh, that's an
endless. It's just like, yeah, and it's I would
exhausting.
just say so much stupid shit, and I would look back and I would look like an idiot, and then I'm just like, all these people look like such idiots, and I just can't, because there's just no way to it just doesn't work. So it's just endless. There's this one guy I follow on Facebook who posts political stuff all the time, and he's pretty centrist, like he's pretty good at, but he obviously is sharing just like anti-Trump stuff all the time, along with other stuff. And there's always Trump people and the anti-Trump people just arguing with each other. And eventually I just unfollowed him.
Yeah.
And then I followed him back like a year later. I was just like, I'll follow this guy and see what's like, because the election was coming up. I just wanted to see what he was talking about. And it was the exact same people saying the exact same shit. Literally, honestly, the exact same people. And it was just like, they've been doing this for the last year.
Yeah.
And like all day, like they will post like there's 40, 80 comment like.
Oh yeah.
And it's literally you could just copy and paste it and put it on a picture from a year ago, and it would be the exact same.
Yeah, because in my experience, whenever I've like made, because sometimes you'll see something, it's like, all right, I'm literally so compelled to say something, it's like I gotta like go on Facebook and make a status and be like, yo, this is absolutely ridiculous. And then when you do get in those like, all right, one person's completely against you for whatever reason, and they just say something that's like, your post is like you threw a punch, and then they throw a punch right back, and then like you get pissed off because like it's like, oh, this person's completely wrong, and then like you see their comment, it makes you angry, and then you have to think of something. And so it'll take you some time. You reply a comment, they reply, and it's just like I just spent 4 hours just arguing with someone on Facebook and like getting heated, like I'm alone in my room and I'm just angry.
Yeah,
it's just like
it's like fun, man.
Just like because I'm fine with having like political discussions, but it's like just have it in person. But I feel like a lot of people don't. It'll get too violent in person, I feel like now, because there's so much. Not violent in like a physical way, but like just a yelling.
I feel like people bring it up at work, and I feel like it's fine. I feel like everyone understands people have different opinions about stuff. Like, I'll make jokes. Like, I have one friend who like agrees with me politically, and then there's like a few other people who are on the other side.
Mm-hmm.
And like we'll make little jokes to each other, and like or say something, and if like some news came out that helped one of the like parties or whatever, like we'll make a joke to the other person. Like it's not that serious.
Yeah.
'Cause at the end of the day, it's like it really doesn't matter that much.
Yeah.
Like honestly, they're all gonna do pretty much the same stuff. It's just gonna swing back and forth, and there's gonna be, because there's good sides. I guess like. Socialism obviously has its downfalls. Pure capitalism obviously has its downfalls. and it just swings back and forth because it needs to kind of go. When we go too far the other way, we just got to have people to vote to bring it back towards the middle a little bit.
Yeah.
It just keeps going on.
Yeah.
It's never going to fall because people are just going to be like, no, pull it back.
And I feel like I don't know. I feel like both sides, since we have this two-party system or whatever, it's like I feel like both sides, in one way or another, need each other. It's kind of like they complete each other.
Yeah.
It's like
yeah, it's like a marriage.
Yeah, exactly.
Where they yell, they get in arguments all the time to the point where they really hate each other, but they gotta stay together for the kids.
Yeah. And it's like if there only was one side, then there wouldn't be anything to check it.
Yeah.
So then eventually things would just like get out of control.
Yeah, I wish people would understand that more about it. Like because. When they talk that much about, like, you know, you can't vote, or you have to vote, but if you vote for a Republican, you're a racist. And it's just that idea sucks, man, so much.
Oh, yeah. Well,
sucks.
I mean...
Because then it's to the point where there really is only one choice, and then they're like, just such a predicament.
Well, it's just, I mean, that's just such a ludicrous premise.
Yeah.
It's just like a false equivalency. Because if you dig deeper.
Well, it's just people bought into it so much that, like, people have really gotten angry, and there are actually a lot of angry racist people out there.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, and they're all, for the most part, Republican, I suppose. But.
Yeah, and, they must, I mean, they are.
Yeah.
But it just sucks, like, how are you supposed to, if you believe, like, the economic policy is going to work better one way, how do you justify trying to turn it the other direction because some people who like the same person as you are racist? It sucks, though. I mean, it just sucks so that we're at that point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I guess we just need less, because there's just so many crazy Republicans, man. Just like fucking Jeff Sessions.
Oh, yeah, I'm glad he's out.
Yeah. And just like some of those people, man, some of those senators are just so like embarrassing.
I mean, it's.
But I guess they're all awful.
Yeah, I mean, it's people.
Yeah.
It's like there's two teams, and out of those two teams, you have to split the country, and think about how many crazy people there are. Like, in 1 out of 100 people, one of those people are absolutely nuts, and then multiply that by, you're either one or the other. But I mean, that's kind of what I like about the libertarian sense, where it's just kind of like you judge a person by just who they are as a person rather than like part of a group. And I think that makes it so that it kind of like just solves those problems.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Do you think there should be political parties, or do you think?
I feel like I do. I mean, I feel like it goes back to their opposites. They both have a place in, thoughtful dialogue about policy.
But I think it's an interesting thing. Is like, is it inevitable? Because when
I don't know how anything else would work, because no one.
Well, it's like kind of an emergent thing where it's like you could say it's like, all right, we're gonna get rid of the political parties, and then would they just emerge again somehow within the next 2 decades? Because it's like George Washington's idea was like, all right, no political parties, and then instantly Federalists versus Anti-Federalists.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean...
It's like, is it an inevitability?
I think it is. I don't think... At the end of the day, you have to have... At the end of the day, at some point, it's like, these are the two best choices. Best, I mean... But, these are the two choices... Because you could have 100 people run, but eventually you're just going to narrow it down to 2.
Yeah.
And they're going to have to win over half of the country somehow.
Yeah, and it is kind of in that sense where it's like, all right, it narrows it down to 2. And in that sense, it's like, how can we just automatically get people's votes? It's like, all right, I'm going to just associate with this team. And so if it's not even necessarily they're voting for me. If that person associates with this team that I represent, then they'll just vote for me.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, okay.
There you have it.
Simple enough. Yeah, that's the whole like third party thing is so interesting because that can just sometimes just throw a complete monkey wrench in the whole equation. Who was the dude who Ross Perot? Was it Ross Perot in the Clinton Bush election?
I don't know.
Where he was just this like billionaire and he apparently bought like, have you ever seen this? He bought, I think it was 30 minutes of airtime and he just explains economics for like 30 minutes and explaining why the government wastes all the money and just like...
No, I've never seen
Yeah,
that.
no, apparently Ross Perot was like, this guy was just a billionaire and he was just like, all right, I'm running a third party. And that's the reason George Bush Sr. lost, is because a lot of Republicans started voting for him and then Clinton won. So apparently he just... I saw some of it before and it's really interesting where he just basically talks about how the waste in government spending and how it's just like a scam or whatever. And he did it like right before election night or something.
Interesting. I want
Just out of his own pocket. And he has like charts and all this stuff.
Yeah.
It's really interesting. But yeah. Alright.
What should we talk about next week?
Who knows? Who knows? I'm trying to think of what's some good like go-to wrapping up. Like have every episode
We need
have
some
this
segments.
end of the just like
Gotta have
current events or
questions.
something.
I had a question on the way over here I was going to say. I forget that.
That'll happen.
Anyway, we'll think of it next time.
Yep. Alright, man. Thanks for joining. And Tootle-oo. That's my catchphrase.